Oh, yeah, boonga. Okay. Hello, Stacy. I was lucky to get it, only because I had to make an appointment. It was only 4 months. I want to loosen up a little bit, and I did say I wanted to start at 12:30, but let's let the chat populate, okay? Okay. Okay, Steve. How you doing, Seth? Everybody, Seth, did you get the Seth, you got the PDFs? All that is that one page you mentioned, Stacy, and he's introduced you to a time change, like from eighth notes to eighth note triplets to 16th notes, making the transition clean but maintaining the sticking pattern. Okay, so we're not going to start with that or the PDFs. I want to outline, first of all, I need to ask you a few questions because I want to incorporate your lessons that you have with Jeff on here. So here's what I intend to do next week so you can prepare yourself. All right, Seth, Stacy. We're going to work on page 8 and page 9, okay, of Joe Morello's book. Now, Stacy, you mentioned you're working with the levels. Well, whether you realize it or not, when you play, you're playing with levels. It's just a natural thing. We're going to go through this whole book. So you have the Morello books, Stacy. Seth, did I send it to you? Joe Morello's book? If not, I'll get it to you, okay? Now, we're going to review a few things that we did yesterday. But before we do that, we're going to go to the table of time. And we're going to play that for a little bit. So, Stacy, you have the table of time, and Seth has the table of time. So I'm just going to play for now up to 6s that say 120. You don't have to try to follow me, because that, you know, if your hands are not moving, you're gonna get lost after groupings of 4. So I'm gonna nail that at 120. Just play it for about a minute or so. Here we go. Hold on. I'm getting a little dizzy here. Hold it. Let me lower that tempo a little bit, very much. I got lost. Oh. This whole age shit's got to stop, man. All right. We're going to hit it at 80. Okay? I really messed up that quarter note triplet because I wasn't in tune. Remember what we talked about, Seth? I wasn't focused. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I do the 6s. Ah, 3, 4. I didn't go to sleep last night. I just had a bad night, so bear with me. Okay, so it's just still Seth and Stacy. Somebody's out of here. Stacy, you still here? Seth, you still here? Who's here? There's me, and there should be Stacy and Seth, and it's not happening. Who is here, Seth or Stacy? I got to loosen up a little bit. What I want to talk about, and everybody said to me, it's a lot easier if I write it out. Well, guess what? You're all going to write it out. Okay, well, the numbers aren't showing. I'm going to send everybody, about 100 sheets of manuscript. How's that sound? What I'd like you to do, what I did is, if you look at the Morello book, we talked about this one yesterday, that we're going to work with it. So I really don't want to start until the people get here. Control study, sticking exercises. Now, you've been working on this with Jeff, Stacy? That's page 40. And what you see, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. That's the lines of stick control book. If you were to talk to Morello and say, hey, that book is pretty cool, Master Studies 1 and Master Studies 2, he would tell you it's just an extension of stick control. Okay? So, what did you say, Seth? I can't say. All right, you're still there. So, if you're on page 40, and it just gives you those exercises, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. You can play these both in full strokes, half strokes, and quarter strokes. All right, now, if you look at the next page, he has it in 12/8. Why, I don't know. It should be, it's actually in 4/4. Because if you're counting 12/8, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whereas it's better to count 1 and 2 and 3, 4. I believe if you're counting in 12/8, you can grab hold of it a lot. Page 40, yeah? All right. Now, do you understand this, Stacy? Do you understand number 40? Because the 40 and 41, see, the way I presented the PDFs, for example, I don't know, remember the order, I don't have it printed out. But if you took the first line on the PDF, it's the stick control book, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, correct? 1 and 2 and 4 and. The next measure, I make an eighth note triplet, but maintain the sticking from line 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and pretty easy. Okay, now I'm going to do line. I'm going to do it as what you're doing here is you're taking eighth notes, eighth note triplets, and 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 16ths. 1 E and 2. Now you got to be careful with your sticking heights. You want the right hand and the left hand to sound the same. Now you have a few different options here. You're already doing stick control, both full strokes, half strokes, and quarter strokes. So we could actually put page 40 on the side. The one that ouch, come on glasses. The one I would like everybody to do, and I want them to write it out. Like I said, I'm going to send everybody manuscript paper. On this page, you have it, I already wrote out 1 through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines in eighth note triplets. Okay? Now some you need for it to come back to the beginning of the triplet where you started. Some measures are only 1 measure. Some measures you need 2 measures. But it's best to play eighth notes, eighth note triplets, and 16th notes. It's sort of a prerequisite for the transitions on the table of time. Do you understand that, Stacy? I'm sure that Jeffrey explained that to you. Do we understand that? So here's what I want you guys to do. When I send you the manuscript paper, I would like you to write out, okay, page 5, the left-hand side, in eighth note triplets, maintaining the sticking. You write it out. Everybody has a camera. Take a photo of it and send it to me. Okay. Do we understand what I want everybody to do so far? Stick control, page 5, the left-hand side. Write it out in eighth note triplets, not 12/8, eighth note triplets. Maintain the sticking. Like I said, okay, some measures you only have to do 1 measure because then use a 2 measure increment for each line. That's how I'll send it to you. I'll send you guys about 100 sheets. Is that okay? We all understand that? All right. And you'll be surprised when you write something out. I mean, there's nothing like, sticks in the hands and practicing. But when you write something out and get involved with that deeply, you become stronger. You'll see what I'm talking about. And it will drive you cuckoo sometimes. You will make a few mistakes, which is okay because we learn by the mistakes. Now, I said to everybody, or I said to both of you guys, we're going to work from page, actually 6. Let's do all the eighth notes. 6, actually number 1, through 45. Now, you're going to concentrate a lot. It doesn't matter, Paul. I felt like starting at 12:30. Don't worry about it. What's going to happen now, it's not that, I'm going to use, well, yes, all right, you have to play each line 3 times. Some you don't. All right, but that's all right. That's good. 3 measures each. I'll send it to you as 3 measure per line. Okay? What is this message retracted, Seth? All right, now, Paul, did you get the PDFs? You asked me to write things out for everybody. I did. Now I didn't complete the cycle actually on the lesson. I mean on the PDFs. I wrote it out in triplets. If you look at the first line or the first exercise, okay. Hey Jim, if you look at the first exercise, that first exercise is showing you it's stick control book 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which you guys already know. You've been through a rigorous, regimented practicing of the stick control book supposedly every day. Okay, so you're practicing. You know how to do at least the left-hand side of stick control book in full strokes, half strokes, and quarter strokes. Now, the way it should be played is when I'm playing the right hand and then I go to my left hand, there should be no difference in sound. If there is, you make the adjustment. The right hand and the left hand sound the same. Now, if you look at the PDF line, the first one, number 1, you see, all right, it's the first line of stick control book, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, what I did on the second line, I took the same sticking pattern. Now, I'm not doing 3, 4 measures here. What I'm doing is explaining to you, all right, how you're counting that first line, maintaining the sticking in 8th note triplets. So the next line is 16th notes. Now, how I work this, you want to work it slow. If you want to practice this on a pad, that's cool. You know, I always say, hey man, you know, I play on a drum set or I play on a drum, not a pad. That's, you know, sometimes you just can't do it. You have to practice on a pad. So if you want to do this on a pad, that's cool. I'd rather you do it on a snare drum if you can. It's just a different thing. Okay, so, for example, let me show you. I'm just going to play without a metronome first. Line 1. Got it, Jimmy? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now look at the sticking heights. The right hand and the left hand from the same height. Theoretically and technically, if I maintain the same height and I come down from that point and make impact on the drum on the right side and left side, I should have the correct, an equal sound, a same sound. Now there's the thing of velocity. I could just drop the stick like this, but I still get the same sound. So if I'm playing, how am I getting? You don't want that. Now I'm maintaining, that's the first line of stick control book. That's what's in the Morello book. Now, he takes that same sticking pattern and now he thinks 8th note triplets. 1 and 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I did the 8th notes and the 8th note triplets, and the next one is going to be 16ths. So he's introducing you to the transition of 8th notes to 8th note triplets to 16ths. It's sort of a prerequisite to the table of time. So we have, I'm going to start this, I'll just do the 16ths. Now, I want to do, you could do the first measure 1,000 times, I don't care. What I'm looking for here is the same sound, plus making the transition from line 1, okay, to line 2 with the 8th note triplet. And we're in the full stroke position. I don't want you to fall asleep on the line. The triplets. many times as you want. Now, for it to go back to where you began, you're right, Tracy, 3 measures, but some you don't have to do it, so we're consolidating them. Now, Paul and Jimmy, before you got here, I said to Seth and Stacy, I'm going to send manuscript paper, about 100 pages, okay? Just print it out. What I would like you to do with the manuscript paper is take the stick control book, the page 5, the left-hand side, and write it out in 8th note triplet formation. You got that, Paul? You got that, Jim? You got it, Jimmy? Well, if I'm just going to send everybody the same thing, Stacy. It don't cost me anything. I just open up the program, say 100 sheets, PDF it, and send it to you. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So you're going to take a picture of it, okay, and you're going to send it to me. You're going to do that line 1, not in 16ths, just the 8th note triplets. Okay, you got it, Paul? How about you, Jimmy? Seth, I know he has it. Seth is trying to get this together. He's out there practicing on his pad. Very good, Seth. Okay, so here's what I intend to do. Not this week like tonight's lesson. I want to challenge Morello's book. Okay? And when I say that, I want to do just the 8th note accented. That's number 1. What is it? Number 1 to 45. And you're going to see, that's a lot of work. It's not. Trust me. Once you understand the system, okay? Once you understand the system, 8th note triplet, Jimmy. Once you understand the system, you become accustomed to putting your hands in a position to nail the up-and-coming accent. That's what you want to do. And we're going to go through that 1 through 45, and then we're going to go on to the triplets. I would like to cover just about every page in the Morello book. This way here, when someone asks you, what books did you use? And you say Joe Morello's Master Studies, you played it. Not, a couple lines from page 6, couple lines from page 10, so on and so forth. You're going to be able to play it. You forgot the T, Jimmy. I wonder where Bob is, an old dog. But you're going to get the manuscript paper, so don't save your own manuscript. Just print it out on the printer. Take a photo of it after you did what I asked. No accents. Just straight ahead, 8th note triplets, maintaining the sticking. Okay, that's on the line. For example, if you're doing line 3, it's telling you this, 1 and 2 and 4 and, okay? Now you want to do it in triplets, 8th note triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? That's what you want to do. So I wrote some of it out in 1 measure increment, maybe 2 measure increment. I didn't have a whole lot of time to write the whole thing out in 3 measure increments. Some of it takes 3 measures to come back to the 1. You'll be fine when you do just the left-hand side of the page. Now remember, you already know how to do the full stroke. You already know how to do the half stroke. And you know how to do the quarter stroke. That's history for you guys. You should be maintaining that. Now you're going to another level, all right? You're taking the sticking that's on the page and you're maintaining an 8th note triplet flow. Yes, your bass drum is on 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want to do it, the triplet in full strokes. I'll do the first, I'll do the second, the doubles. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll do that for a while. Find yourself a number on the metronome. Okay? Come on, why did you go to sleep on me? Hold on, here you go. Hey, listen, I got 2 cameras hooked up today before we go any further. I want to put the other camera on, and I want to see what you can compare this view to the one I have on the other camera, okay? Tell me which one you want. It takes a little while for it to come up. That's the first view you're looking at now. The second view is going to come up. I just turned on another camera. I'm trying to find out some good views for you guys. Don't tell me I froze. No. Did I freeze? Oh my God. That's the second view. Okay, now, I froze, I had to reboot it. So as you can see, welcome to the live chat. This YouTube is driving me crazy. You like that view better than the other one? You can see the drums, the cymbal. You like this video like this? Or you like the other one? Up to you guys. Yeah, the video's okay. All right, so what we'll do is we'll alternate it. I'll try to do that. It's gonna, I don't know if it's gonna freeze again, but I just changed it back. Okay, now we understand. Okay, you see my hands better. I changed it back, okay? Oh. So now we understand what I want from the Morello book. You guys have been keeping up with doing the table of time, at least up to groupings of 6, and then having enough balls to go to 7, 8, 9. We're going to take them apart, okay? We understand it, right? Every day. There's a few different kind of exercises I've been throwing at you. You know, like doing full strokes, half strokes, and quarter strokes. Yeah, well, inside of your practice, you're going to do that. But to start off your practice, it's like anything else. You loosen up. And it's safe to do full strokes, at least from line 1 to whatever you feel okay with. You feel loose. 5, 6, 7, okay, or 8, or even to 12 full strokes. Then do the whole thing in half strokes at a variety of tempo. And then quarter strokes. And then go on to your practice. Say, okay, I want to hit the Morello book, or I want to do the table of time, or I want to learn some jazz, work on some jazz patterns. You guys have a tremendous amount of work to do. You know, playing the money beat, you know, it's such, you know, I could embellish upon that, but it doesn't make any sense because that's not teaching. I could embellish it on today, play it one way, and later on tonight still take the same pattern and embellish on it again, and it's going to sound different. That's improvising from the groove. Okay? Jimmy, you still there? Okay, let's review some of the things that we did yesterday. Last night, I ended it with, well, let's go back a little further. We started with a linear time, okay? And the linear time was, I believe it was formula number 43 in the stick control formula book. Okay? It's a linear time, and I'm going to take it apart and explain it again. Does anybody have any problem with 40? All right, Jimmy. Okay, well, you should go. It's unfortunate. Go to Amazon. All right, and if you don't have the book, you should get the book. Joe Morello's Master Studies 1 at least. Now, I believe that was what formula was that? Formula number 43, Jimmy. Yesterday, Paul. Yesterday, was that 43? You too, Stacy? Paul, what formula was that? Okay, hold on. You guys love to see me work. Formula number 43. I'm going to review it from yesterday. All right, let's do 43 first, okay? Now, where it comes from is the stick control book, the references anyway. What inspired me to do this kind of thing as linear was the four-way coordination by Elliot Fine and Marvin Dahlgren. And like I told Dave Stanek, and he was upset at me for a couple of years, I said the four-way coordination is stick control book on steroids. All right, so that being said, I released that. Okay, so now let's take it apart. Let's stay with line 1. We're going to reference off the stick control book, right, left, right, left. So now we're going to establish whatever right is going to equal, and whatever right becomes and L becomes. So I'm going to take, 1 and 2 and, but I'm going to take that as a quarter note, like 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and left E and. Do it again. I'm interpreting the line 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the. That's how I'm interpreting. So I just did the first right, left, right, left. I got to do it 3 more times to complete the line. So here's what right becomes. Every time I see a right, it's my right hand on the floor tom-tom. 1. Okay? Every time I see a left, it's my right hand on the hi-hat. So now I have right, hey, cymbal, get out of my way. I have right, left, right, left. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. We following me so far? What happened? The video hiccuped. Huh. Stacy, you watching me on a phone or a computer? We've been having some severe thunderstorms. Right now, there's no storm going on. So last night was ridiculous. It was like the monsoon outside. And I think that some of the lines went down. Paul's following. Stacy, anybody having any problems? Anybody see a video hiccup? For the best view, okay, is for everybody to watch this on a computer. Not saying that, you can't watch it on whatever you have. All right, so now the first guy, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. Got it? All right, everybody understands that. Now we're going to fill in the E and of each count. So my left hand is going to be on a snare drum for that E and it's going to remain the same all throughout the whole exercise, all the different exercises. So I have 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. So now let me add back the 1, 2, 3, 4 and add the E and. 1E and, left E and, right E and, 4E and, 1E and, 2, 3, 4. Okay? We understand that. So now that takes care of the 1E and, 2E and, 3E and, 4E and. We know where we have to place them. Now where does the da come in? Okay. Now you could do this whichever way works for you. All right? Every time before I hit a right, I hit my bass drum on a da. Da, right, da, left. So we have da 1, E, and da 2, da 3, da 4, da 1, da 2. We're not trying to bang the shit out of it. Just nice and musical, okay? That's the first guy. Do we all understand that before I continue on to say line 3? It's not the feet. Da right. You can't say the feet. Da right, not the feet. Da right, the left. 1 E and the 2 E and. That's all the right side. Then I have the left E and the right. The left, the left, the left. Get that, Seth? If you go the foot or the feet, it's not going to happen. Da is the feet. What are you? The feet. That's okay. Have fun. That's what it's about. All right. So now, you take your time with that exercise. You have it written out. So in the stick control book formulas, you take, as many lines as you like. Work on it. Get it down. The more you work on it, the more it's going to flow, the easier it's going to become for you, rather. Now, the next one we did, and that was overlapping, which I think I should have not done, but I did. And we used the triplet. Same premise. The R is a right hand on the floor tom-tom. The L is a right hand on the hi-hat. So I'm doing an eighth note triplet. And I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and so now we got to get the and of the triplet. Excuse me. So all the ands are going to be on a snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now again, before you hit the right and 2, 3, 1 and being don't start with a pickup no man. 1 and 2, 3, 4. The 1 and 2 and 3. Now I'm thinking of an eighth note triplets. The 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 16th notes. So we understand that? You want me to go over that a little bit more? It's difficult to overlap that one, but we understand that one. And the other exercise I believe we did was, if you guys remember the warm-up routine, remember vamping for 4 measures for a minute or 2 or 3, or the left-hand side of the stick control book with the vamp. And then I gave you another one, which was, I think, 27 in Joe Morello's book, if you remember. You guys remember that one? We're going to go now, we're going to do the same concept, but we're going to think eighth note triplet. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, you notice when I'm doing that, I exaggerate the motion. This way you can see the motion. I'm not being stiff, I'm teaching. That's what's occurring with your sticks. So, those 2 hand exercises, the 2 linear concepts, the new PDFs, and the table of time. And next week we're going to start on the beginning of Morello's book, 1 surface and a drum set application. And we're going to fool around with it. Okay? Are there any questions to this point? Any questions? Now I'm going to be back tonight, 6:30. Do we have that? You don't have to be sorry, Seth. Have a good time, man. This is not easy to teach. It's not easy to play, let alone teach it. Sometimes I get too serious. I have to lighten up. Any questions? Where is everybody today? There's Paul, Stacy, Jimmy, Seth. All right. Remember now, guys, I will be back tonight at 6:30. I want to do a little bit of a longer lesson. I have some free time. I am not going outside to do any yard work because there's an oven outside. So I might as well just, I'm going to be practicing, so let me hang out with everybody else. Now don't forget, I'm going to send you, okay, the blank manuscript. I'm going to do six lines, 2 measures each line. Okay? Take a photo of it and send it to me. Okay, that's cool. The feet. It's supposed to be the foot. And it should be foota. Whatever. It don't matter. Jimmy, you okay? All right. Hey, Hoist, where you been? Inganabanga. You got to interact. Come into the chat. Now tonight I'm starting a little earlier at 6:30. Do you understand everything we did today, or you just look at the video? All right, let me go.